Hi everybody, I'm Tim from Canadian Craft Tours, and today we're talking about packaging. Specifically, is glass or cans better for craft beer? It's an interesting question. Up until a few years ago, craft beer was almost exclusively done in glass bottles. But the big switchover has come since canning lines have become much less expensive and everybody's got one. But what's the bottom line? Cans? Bottles? How do we decide? Well, there are three ways to look at this. There's convenience, there's taste, and there's environmental friendliness to be considered when we answer the question whether cans or bottles are better. Now, first thing, cans. In terms of taste, a can is 100% impenetrable to UV light. And that's a huge spoiler of beer. If you ever have a beer and leave it out in the sunshine in a clear glass for a few minutes, it's going to go skunky and taste pretty bad. Even though dark brown bottles do stop some of the UV light, they're not perfect the way a can is. So score one for cans. Also, cans are filled first by having the oxygen purged out of them by a spray of CO2 gas. Then they're filled and the lid goes on top of a layer of foam. That means they have very little dissolved oxygen in them. Now, a similar process is used for beer, but with cans it's pretty refined. We're getting dissolved oxygen levels that are very, very low. So score one for cans, because oxygen's going to make your beer stale after a while. Next, there's the idea that cans might taste like metal. You've heard someone say, oh, I don't like to drink out of a can. It makes the beer taste like metal. Well, good for you for not drinking out of a can, because glasses are classier and nicer, but all beer cans are coated on the inside with a clear, flavorless, odorless, and inert plastic material that prevents any contact with the metal. You don't get any metal ions in the beer itself. Someone who's detecting metallic character in the beer, it's probably because they're sniffing the lid. Don't be a lid sniffer. So, score for the cans. Now, in terms of convenience, beer bottles are bulky and pretty heavy for the volume of beer that they contain. This is a 650 milliliter bottle, and this is a 473 milliliter can. And this one's way more compact. Even if it was 650, it'd be about that tall. The other thing is that aluminum cools down much more quickly in a cooler or in a refrigerator than glass does. Glass does hold the temperature a little bit longer because of its thermal mass. The big thing about cans versus bottles in convenience is when you clack two cans together, they don't smash. Score high for cans in this one. Finally, environmental friendliness. Now, cans and bottles both incur an energy debt when they are manufactured, and it's not low for either one. However, often bottles are made in countries where they're burning thermal coal in order to liquefy the silica material, the glass essentially, to blow mold them. That's pretty bad for the environment. Now, cans, including the ones that are manufactured here in North America, and I'm specifically thinking of British Columbia here where the aluminum is manufactured, we use hydroelectric power. It's renewable, it's arguably better for the environment, and doesn't contribute much to greenhouse gases. So that's a good one for them. The other thing about environmental friendliness is recycling. Despite the fact that we put a lot of glass into our recycling bins, unfortunately not much of it does get processed for recycling. In fact, there are very few facilities that process glass for anything other than gravel fill or for putting it in the landfill. There's an Owens Corning plant down in the States that melts down bottles and makes housing insulation, the fiberglass foam, but it uses a fraction of a percent of all the available recyclable glass material. Aluminum, on the other hand, is infinitely recyclable. In fact, it's the poster child for good recycling practices. Practically 100% of it can be recycled and reused for more aluminum products, and it's done so continuously. And that takes a fraction of the energy that the original aluminum manufacturing does. Throw in the fact that aluminum is very light. That means it's easier to transport and has a less cost to the environment in terms of energy for transporting it from place to place. And cans are really kind of winning out here. So aluminum is better for the environment, it's better for storage, it's better for transport, and it's better for the flavor of the beer. So cans are here to stay. Hey, Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy this content, please click on like, subscribe, and ding the little bell so you get a notification when we put out another one. That really helps us out. Thanks from Canadian Craft Tours. Hey Jordan! Oh Jordan!